What is up, people, and welcome back to my Rags to Riches F1 2010 to 2014 career mode. This is the career mode where we go from one of the worst teams in F1 2010, work our way up through the ranks and through the teams, and try and get a drive for one of the best teams in the F1 2014 season. We are here for the final season of the Rags to Riches, the sequel. This is Season 5, Episode 1. The F1 2014 season gets underway here today, and you guys don't actually, well, you know, you guys probably do know who we're driving for if you have watched previous episodes. If you haven't watched any of the previous episodes, then where have you been? You know, go catch up with the card annotation in the top right hand corner of your screens. You can find every single episode of this Rags to Riches, the sequel, in that top right hand corner of your screen in the playlist. And if you've just missed the previous episode at Imola in the 2013 season, then you will find that up there as well. It's a really, really good race, so I definitely suggest that you go check that one out. Both those guys will be, of course, in that top right-hand corner of your screens. But it's time to find out who we will be driving for in the 2014 season. Forza Ferrari, baby. It's 2 years in a row we are going to be driving for Ferrari. This time around in the 2014 season, we'll be hoping to try and challenge for the championship. If you guys did watch the first time that we did Rags to Riches, we actually challenged for the championship in this car by only driving it in the final couple of rounds. So, driving it this time from the start of the season, we could actually have a really good chance of challenging for the championship title by the end of the season. Possibly even winning it this time around, because last time we got so close but were punted off the road by Lewis Hamilton, and that cost us the championship at the end of the day. But let's get into the 2014 career mode. And unlike previous seasons, this season is not about, you know, getting a good position for a team next season. This is it. It's all out. It's guns blazing. It's all guns blazing. We are going for the championship this season. That's my only goal. It's the only thing that I want to do. We've got a welcome to Ferrari, race results data, stuff like that. Welcome to Formula One once again, race weekend introduction. But this is the important one, information for the Australian Grand Prix. It's going to be nice and sunny, which is exactly what we want. Nice and sunny across the rest of the weekend, and a good way to start the season off in the dry. Anything else that we need to talk about? It's not really the goal for the season. It's really to finish 5th, but my goal is to win the championship. Nothing else to talk about, so without any further ado, let's get this F1 2014 season underway. Here we go then. One shot qualifying time for the Australian Grand Prix, and I'm actually coming into this race with no practice at all. Haven't even played this game yet. No practice at all. And the one thing I've got to say is I really do not like the sound of these cars. I really do not like the sound. After coming from the 2013 cars, the sound of these ones, it's just not pretty. It's just not a pretty sound. It's a much more deeper grunt, and it's a little bit annoying. But anyway, let's get on with our racing. Let's try and set a good lap time here today, and hopefully, you know, get within at least the top 10. Okay, then 2 corners left to go in this qualifying session. It's not been the greatest of laps, in all honesty. Getting used to this new car, it's quite difficult to drive. The brakes seem a lot more responsive, so you've got to brake a lot later than we had to on F1 2013. It's going to be way down the field. It's probably going to even be last. It's not quite last. It's in our usual spot of 18th place, but only just beating Jules Bianchi in the Marussia. Not a good way to start this 2014 game. However, in recent races, we've not done well at the Australian Grand Prix. It's not been a good place to start for us. So, you know, we'll take it with a pinch of salt, but at the end of the day, we can do better, and we should really be doing better. Fernando Alonso, my teammate, who out-qualified me at every single race apart from the final one last season, qualifies in 5th place. We'll see what we can do, though, in the race, and over the course of the race, we will just have to wait and see what happens. But it's not the best results at the end of the day. Lewis Hamilton gets pole position ahead of Daniel Ricciardo by 96 thousandths of a second, so 100th of a second there. Nico Rosberg not too far off the pace either in P3, with Sebastian Vettel 4th, then it's Fernando Alonso in 5th. Nico Hulkenberg qualifies in 6th for the Force India team, Valtteri Bottas 7th, and Felipe Massa 8th, with Kevin Magnussen 9th, and Jenson Button rounding out the top 10. But what can we do from 18th on the grid? Let's find out. It's race day. It is the Australian Grand Prix, the start of the F1 2014 season. It was not a good qualifying session day for us, qualifying way down the field in 18th position. However, it just means we get to have a lot more fun in today's race, overtaking as many cars as possible and trying to put ourselves as high up the field as we can. Starting on the option tyres for today, pitting on lap 7 for the primes. Can't really change our fuel strategy, can we? Change our fuel? No, we can't change our fuel strategy for today, so we're just going to leave that. First blood goes to Fernando Alonso in the out-qualified, but we'll be looking to maybe catch him up on that one. Hopefully F1 2014 isn't as hard as F1 2013 was. We'll be hoping that we can at least challenge in this season with our teammates. Anything else we need to talk about? Not really. 0% chance of rain. So let's head down to the track and get today's race underway. The 2013 World Champion Lewis Hamilton lines up in pole position for today with Daniel Ricciardo in second. My teammate Fernando Alonso was in 5th, and there's myself with a brand new helmet in 18th place. Unfortunately, they didn't have the usual yellow and sort of blue blocked helmet that I've been running since F1 2011, unfortunately. Oh, I hate that sound. As we go to 5 red lights, it is lights out and away we go for today's Australian Grand Prix. That is just a horrible sound off the starting grid. That grunt is just so disgusting though. But we go down in towards turn 1, braking later than some of these guys. Oh, nearly getting taken out there by a driver on our left hand side. We're getting past a lot of them, already up into P15 at the moment, looking to maybe try and get past as many drivers as we can down in towards this next big braking zone. Braking just before the 100-meter board, up behind Felipe Massa, the inside of Massa, down in towards this right hand, and there we go, job done, side by side with Jenson Button, maybe around the outside if we can. Yes we can, job done on Jenson Button, and maybe even up the inside of Valtteri Bottas if we can. What a move that was! Up the inside of Valtteri Bottas and already up into P8 for this Australian Grand Prix. What a start to the race this has been. But we need to get our bearings. We need to sort of cool down a little bit and focus on the race ahead of us. Doing an okay job at the moment in this Australian Grand Prix. However, we're just sort of matching the lap times that Kevin Magnussen is setting at the moment. Not able to close the gap just yet on the McLaren driver. However, he's having a little bit of a battle with the driver up ahead of him. He's right on his tail. So maybe in the next couple of laps, if those guys just keep on battling, I could possibly come into the fold and maybe gain 2 positions for the price of 1. Few drivers into the pits here on lap 6 of this Australian Grand Prix. Not too sure whether they're going to go for a 2-stop strategy or whether they're just going for the earlier pit stop to sort of get the undercut on some other drivers. It is around the pit stop phase. I'm coming into the pits on this lap anyway, so maybe it's just different strategies amongst the teams. But moving up into P6 at the moment, we've only got 1 driver out of today's race. Not too sure who that is. I think it was a driver behind me anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. But unfortunately, Kevin Magnussen has managed to get quite a bit of a gap on me in this race. I've not really been the quickest in the last couple of laps. Maybe that's just tyre wear coming into effect, although the tyres aren't actually too bad at the moment, so maybe it's just my lack of ability of driving on this game. We'll just have to wait and see. But hopefully through the pit stop phase we can still come out in a decent position. Here we go then into the pits on lap 7 of this Australian Grand Prix, about the halfway stage of this race at the moment. Into the pit lane, just hugging that right hand side just to make sure that we don't actually go into the wall, and into the pits we go. Right, what sort of pit stop time is it going to be? Coming into the box, we shouldn't be held up by the 2 drivers coming in behind us. Hopefully not. Yes, we are. The Toro Rosso holding us up just a little bit in the pit stop phase, but he's into the box. We get past the Williams driver as well, and we've moved back up into the top 10. I think there are a few drivers still yet to pit in today's race. I'm not too sure whereabouts is Jenson Button. I think that's him coming down in towards turn 1 now. And there we go, got the job done on those guys. Up into P10 at the moment. Few drivers still left to pit. Jules Bianchi is actually the driver behind us at the moment. I think he is yet to make a pit stop at the moment in this race. But we'll just wait and see on that. Wait and see for confirmation on that. We're on these prime tyres, and we're going to be taking these to the end. And hopefully we can still get a decent result today. Oh, a few drivers coming out the pit lane just ahead of us. Did not. That caught me by surprise big time there. To go around the outside of the Force India. I think that is Nico Hulkenberg, or it might be Sergio Perez. Still side by side with a Force India driver. Squeezing him out as much as we possibly can. Moving back up into P8 of this Australian Grand Prix. And just about there, getting the job done on both him and Valtteri Bottas. But that was a close one. Was not expecting either of those 2 drivers to come out the pit lane then. But we get the job done. We're up into P8, and now we're looking to stay in this position and maybe try and catch up to Kevin Magnussen as well. Valtteri Bottas had a great run on me all the way down in towards turn 1. Not being the best of final corners. I'm going to force him over to the right-hand side as much as possible. Try and get the best line through turn 1. He just backs off so much. The AI just have no balls going up the inside on this 2014 game. And I used that to my advantage there. Didn't actually expect it. I thought they fixed it for 2014. I knew it happened obviously in 2013 because we've just done a season of that. But I actually thought they fixed it for this game. However, doesn't look like they have. So now, every time Valtteri Bottas goes up the inside, I know that he is not going to be able to get that position done. Especially if I push him over to the right-hand side as much as I possibly can. Final lap then here at the Australian Grand Prix. And we still have the Williams of Valtteri Bottas all over my tail. But can we hold on to this 8th position as this final lap goes on? Here we go, down towards turn 1. Nice and tidy through there. Just trying to hold our line, trying to hold this position against Valtteri Bottas. I don't think he's going to be close enough to go for the overtake down towards turn 3. And I'm correct, he's not close enough just yet to go for the overtake. But can he do it anywhere else on this final lap? Lewis Hamilton wins today's Australian Grand Prix. A good start there for the British Mercedes driver as we're coming through the final sector now. I'm pretty sure Fernando Alonso has finished inside the top 5, so good job there for my teammate. Unfortunately, it's not the result we wanted at the start of this 2014 season. However, 4 points on board is better than nothing, especially at a track where we haven't really done well at this circuit in the last 3 seasons. So, you know, 8th place, not too bad at the end of the day. Through the final corner now, can Sergio Perez beat me through this final corner though? We're going to go down towards the line. Perez right on my tail. I don't think he's going to have enough. And it's going to be a lovely P8 to start this 2014 season. From 18th on the grid to P8. Not too bad at the end of the day. Yes, we didn't really have the pace to start off this 2014 game in a good way. But, you know, we got some decent points out of it. We were clean. We didn't actually crash into anyone today, which is actually quite a surprise for myself. Fernando Alonso finishing in 2nd place. Wow, what a result there for my teammate. Great result for him. Lewis Hamilton wins today with Fernando Alonso in 2nd. Nico Rosberg 3rd, rounding out the podium with Daniel Ricciardo in 4th. Sebastian Vettel in 5th. Nico Hülkenberg 6th. Kevin Magnussen ahead of me in 7th. So it was actually Hülkenberg and Magnussen having that battle throughout the whole entire race. Unfortunately, after about lap 5, we just could not keep up with him. We were doing a good job for the first 5 laps, but after that, we just sort of ran out of pace. He must have, you know, both of them must have just stepped it up a gear, and unfortunately, got away from us. But that's not, you know, it's not too bad at the end of the day. P8, still a decent result. 4 points on board. Sergio Perez in 9th with Valtteri Bottas rounding out the points here today with Jenson Button missing out on any points. Not a good day for that British driver there. John Verne also missing out on the points. Felipe Massa in the Williams down in 13th place. Any surprises today? Not really. Pastor Maldonado, not really too much of a surprise, being the only driver to DNF from the first race of the season. Right then, how does this affect us in the Drivers' Championship? Well, the Drivers' Championship is going to be exactly the same as the positions for today's race. So nothing really to talk about here. We're in P8, 4 points on board, and we're not really focusing too much. There's no seats to focus on for next season. So 4th place, you know, 8th place is not good enough. We need to win the championship this season. But Constructors' Championship, we would like to win that 2 years in a row as well. 22 points on board, same amount of points as the Red Bull team. And we are 18 points away from Mercedes. And like we saw in the 2013 season, anything can happen. We caught up a massive gap to close up on that Mercedes team. So 18 points is actually nothing, especially with the amount of races still left to go this season. But that is it for the first episode of the 2014 season here at the Rags to Riches career mode. If you have enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so for daily Formula 1 content. And don't forget to share this video with your friends. And I'll see you next time at the Bahrain Grand Prix, I think it is. Or it might be Malaysia. And I think, I'm not too sure which one it is. I think it's Malaysia. For the Malaysian Grand Prix, I'm not too sure. It's either Malaysia or Bahrain. Whichever one it is, I will see you next time. But until then, it's goodbye from me.